both of us, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome. It is Tuesday again. And I'm so excited because tonight it's really, it's so special for me because tonight it's my tribe. Tonight it's my peeps. Tonight it's it's family. So I want to introduce you to the team. Now I want you to get this. This team doubled, tripled its volume during the holiday season, and right now is the perfect time if you're on this recording. If somebody invited you, whether you're on live or on the recording, you need to know something. This is the my favorite time of the year to build a business, because if you're in a brick and mortar, because I was a brick and mortar snob, I really was. I was a business snob. And this is the time of year that you do your business plan, that you do your budgets. This is the time that you decide what you're going to get people for Christmas for their gifts. What better time to launch a business? What better gift to give than the gift that keeps on going and invests in you and whomever you are giving your gift to? So I want to introduce to you my my team. Love them dearly. They're a little crazy. I'm warning you. I am the quiet one. And so I'm going to start with Tammy. Tammy
Hey.
actually has been known to improve her business or bring in her volume by it. I thought it was tripled. She told me it was only 30%. So who would like
I
to?
wish it was triple. I would take triple.
So Tammy, you must like this season.
I do. Well, hi everybody. Welcome. Glad you guys jumped on. Um, so Ev and I, we've been in business together probably 6 years, maybe about. I'm
Yes.
thinking that could possibly be right. You know, I'll tell you, this is an interesting season. I find this season every year in my business is strong. Every year has been strong. This year has been the strongest. It has been um, growing exponentially in this holiday season. But from November to January, to the middle of January, one of the things I noticed, Eva, is that a lot of people stop working, and it gives us more opportunity to get to people because there's less people seeking people out. And there's more people that they have more time at home, they have more opportunity, they are looking for Christmas gifts, they're already thinking about losing weight. As they're eating their pie, they're already thinking January 1's coming, and they know they're going to have a plan for weight loss. And so, what better time to talk to people about that opportunity than in December? And I guess maybe one other thing I would say, Eva, is that we're around family. You know, we're around more of our family, even though COVID is here and it's impacted all of our lives on some level, some of us very drastically, but we're still connecting with people. We're still talking with people. We still have family around us or Zooming with family. So I think it's a really great opportunity and time to build a business. People are they're very, very open.
All right, and I'm going to introduce, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here really quick because I just really want you to see. Now, this is our holiday launch season. This is the time of year when we as a team traditionally just explode our business. Now, if you'll notice in this picture up here, no, I guess you were there, but I want to introduce you to, okay, everybody has that friend. Come on. Robin is my that friend. She always tries to get me in trouble, doesn't she? I mean, it's always Robin's fault. But I want to tell you, Robin actually launched her business in December. So Robin, why would you? Most people would think that's crazy.
Well, hi everyone. And yes, I am that friend. And
I
yes,
love her so much.
Eva, you are easy to get in trouble with. because you have that sass inside of you, totally. And it was 6 years ago today. Today is my anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Robin.
Yes.
Yay!
So grateful. So I'm so happy to say that, before I joined this amazing company, I was sick, I was tired, I was sick and tired, I was broke, and I was broken. And I needed a better way. And it just so happened that I met Tammy when I was not even looking for a business or anything. I was looking for, I was just looking for a cake at the time, actually. That was back in August. And then I was, not feeling good at all. And so I think, so many people, especially now this time of year, so many people are really experiencing things that they're getting on their knees about.
Mhm.
They're getting, especially this year, right? We've been experiencing massive things, the aftermath and the intermath of what's going on with the world. But at Christmas time, people are praying a little bit more. Their knees are getting a little bit more sore. And by the time I came to Tammy Maltby's house on this day 6 years ago, I was desperate. I needed a health transformation. I needed a liquid supplement. It was a painful time in my life. And that's where I was before. And then I was introduced to liquid nutrients. And that was what I was looking for and praying for. I wasn't looking for a business, but when I heard about it, something deep inside of me thought, what if this could be the answer to get me out of my financial situation as well as change my health? So I was this way, sick, tired, broken. Then I was introduced to Limu. And I went to a party this night at Tammy's house. And I saw some beautiful people. And now I knew Eava. I knew Eava for years and years, but we weren't in close contact. We weren't in, amazing friendship, but we were good. We were friends. And I knew many other people there. And then I saw a bigger picture. And I was like, oh my gosh, this could be it. Like, I didn't have the money, but my 17-year-old daughter had a job at the restaurant I used to work at. And so I borrowed the money from her. And that night I brought 3 people with me. And I introduced them to this amazing company, and 2 of them enrolled with me. And I made $500 tonight, 6 years ago. And wow, that changed my life. That $500 was the pivot. I thought, wow, $500. Now let me just be square with y'all. Do you know how hard I had to work to make $500 in the restaurant? I had to bust my hump. But $500, I just brought the people to Tammy and she did all the work. That was awesome. And Eava was there and Betsy was there, and I let them do the talking. And that's exactly what we do now, isn't it?
Yes.
And you know that changed my daughter's life too. It helped her. So it's all a matter of perspective. Like, I got a business in a box for Christmas. I was able to pay back the money within a week, and that was $1,000. That was a Merry Christmas to me and to my family. And by the time Christmas came, we were making some good money. And within 90 days, we were making enough money to pay our house and our car.
Wow.
That was a huge gift.
Huge.
So it's a perfect time to start a business. Perfect time. It just is a matter of Where do you want to get your present from? And what kind of present do you want? Do you want a little menial present that goes under the tree? Or do you want a present to change the trajectory of your family's life?
You know, Robin, when I was a kid, and then when I became a mother, you always knew that, Christmas, you were so excited and you had all these gifts, but you always knew that within a couple of days or a week, half of them were going to be broken and you may forget them. But this is something that it's like fishing or teaching someone to fish. Now I have to introduce you to this little boy, all 6'4" of him. I adopted him. He actually lost an entire. We have a picture. I should have had it up here. Carrying Tammy Maltby. He's lost an entire Tammy Maltby. Yes, plus. But
thank you, Craig.
I got you, Tam. I got you.
I appreciate that. When you went over my weight and you had lost like 200 zillion pounds and you kept saying I was a Tammy Maltby, I'm like, I am not 200 zillion pounds. Thank you very much.
But Craig, your team right now is exploding. I mean, your team is growing right now faster than Santa Claus on ice. Oh, look I went to the wrong screen. So let me ask you a question. Do you like building during this time of year?
I do. It's funny. I before you asked me to be on here yesterday, it was profound because I was actually having a conversation with a business friend of mine. And he, by the way, shameless plug, if you want to go check out some great food in Colorado Springs, Rock City Cafe, they're still doing takeout. Got to go check it out. But this guy he's one of those entrepreneurs that, like, when you say you're cut from the cloth, I was cut from the same cloth as this guy. And I was having this conversation with him yesterday about how COVID has really affected his business, right? Because they can't go in and dine in anymore. And he's kind of like now on his second cycle. And I've been talking to him about what I do for a little over a year now. And he actually called me up and we were having this conversation. He said, so tell me how what you do could help me with regards to my business. And I said to him, let's sit down and let's talk about how to build something for you. So it's interesting that you use the word build, because the conversation I had with him was not about, weight loss. It was not about, a liquid nutrition. It wasn't about a nutritional supplement that he could take or a pill form energy. It wasn't about any of those things. I just looked at him and I said, what's the biggest problem right now for your business? And he looked me right in the eyes and he said, as an entrepreneur that you don't start a business for money. You start a business to help people. And he said, the fact that I had to lay off 7 of my wait staff, 1 of my line cooks and 1 of my sous chefs, and run my restaurant on a skeleton crew because I just can't afford to have them in here because we're not doing that kind of volume. He said, that was the most difficult decision I've ever had to make. And so I said, well, what if I could show you a way that those people could still make money and we could still establish an income stream into your business while you're in these kind of lulled times? He's coming on board next week. It's just a matter of,
Wow.
it's a matter of perspective. And I don't say that to brag. It's because we need to recognize that in this season, not just because of COVID, but in this time of year, like I think Robin said it, people are down on their knees. They're looking for something to kind of fill in the gap. They're looking for, it's interesting looking at your picture. You've got that little star above your head. People are looking for that glimmer of hope, that brightness through the darkness right now that we're all experiencing. And I think that the biggest thing that I've realized in this business over the last year or so has been that if you're not focused on helping other people build something, helping them build a foundation for whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, then you're missing the mark about what it means to be an entrepreneur. And so we have something that's obviously really amazing to do. I would almost dare to say it's COVID proof. I know that my business is growing. We heard Tammy's business is growing, Robin's business. I think all of us can probably agree that at some level, people realizing that they can work from home, although they have to in most cases, has actually stimulated a growth in our business. And so I'm excited that you asked to do something like this tonight, because I think it's really important that this video will exist for people that see it in the future, that either are entrepreneurial and don't have a business, or maybe they do. And this is just something that we can have a conversation over and show them how to build. And yeah, my team is growing, and it's growing because everybody on my team is starting to approach this business. Like I heard it said about 4 years ago, if you want to have $1 million business, you have to have $1 million mindset when you approach it. And that's really been true of my team in the last year. And so all the kudos to them. It's not anything that I did. I'm doing my part, but the team is really starting to take control of their future. And I think it's like you said, just recognizing that this is the season to realize that this is when people are looking for something most readily. And it's crazy because it doesn't cost a whole lot to get going. And for what people are wasting in other areas, they could start this up and they could see a drastic change in their life, like Robin said, in less than 90 days.
Well, Craig, when you and I first met, you were looking at buying my coffee shop.
Yep.
And we were both looking at that time. I had taken out a 6-figure loan. You were looking at having to take out a 6-figure loan. And the interesting thing was, yes, we actually almost went into business separately together. Mm-hmm. But that year at Christmas, in a brick and mortar, I had to lay someone off. Mm-hmm. And it just crushed me. I mean, still to this day, I beg God for, I know, but in my heart, I beg God for forgiveness for that. Turn around 1 year later, and not only is my business growing, but I helped 100 other people have the income to help 100 other people and put hope under the Christmas tree.
Yep.
I mean, it's profound in a matter of 1 year. Right now, okay, so team, what would you say to the person who's on this call and says, you know what? COVID's coming, there's the political unrest. I'm in another country. I can't get across the borders. I need to save my money because you never know what will happen. What would you say to that person?
Can I go first? I'm just kidding. Can we go backwards? Well, so because it's ironic. So what I would say first, and those of you that don't know, I am a man of God. I would first of all say, remember whose child you are, because
amen,
you are not in control first and foremost. And then I would also say, hinging on that you're not on this call or watching this Zoom as a recording by mistake. That was put in your path for a reason. So I would heed the fact that you are listening to this information. I would say those two things first and foremost. That aside, people say things like, I can't afford to do it, when they're in the most dire situation financially. That's how I was when I started. Betsy Waters is on this call. She'll tell you, when I started, I was looking for a health transformation and all that. And the biggest burden that I had was coming up with $500 to buy a pack of products that were literally going to prove out to save my life, which they have, in my opinion. And at the time, yet I was like, how am I going to come up with $500? And it was my wife who looked at me and said, how can you afford not to? If this stuff actually works and it saves your life, how could you not? She said, go sell some of the crap you have in the garage, And that's what I did. I sold a bunch of stuff at a yard sale and raised $800, and I bought a pack of products. And I say that because a lot of people, it's just a matter of perspective. And I've been quoted saying this so many times, but the reason that you think you can't is the reason that you should. If you don't have $500, and I'll use this term loosely, laying around, if you can't get your hands on $500, there are bigger problems at play than you trying to figure out how to join an online business. Truly. I love the illustration that Gary Racer used to paint. He had us all in the auditorium at one of our live events, and he said, Tammy, if you had to get from here in Texas back to Colorado, and I took your license and your credit cards and your cash and every means possible, and you had to get back there to save your child, you'd find a way to do it, wouldn't you? I just think that people need to approach their life with that sense of urgency. It's not present when it comes to making a decision about something like this. It's not really a matter of having the money. It's a matter of having a priority. And it's not a cliche to say that. And so I pulled, and then I'll shut up. I pulled out some data because I love numbers. I'm a data guy. And in prep for this, I looked in 2020, and I'll go slow if you want to write it down. The median annual income in the United States this year is $61,000. So that breaks out to $1,173 a week for a 40-hour paycheck before taxes. So you can reduce it by 43%. That's $46.92 a month. It breaks out to $29.32 an hour. Now, I read an article in conjunction with this that said, due to COVID, it's been estimated that there's approximately 36.5 million workers missing their normal 2,080 hours of work, their 40-hour work week. So I did the math out. That means that collectively, as a country, already up to this point, we've lost 292 million days of work. And if you multiply that times an 8-hour day times $29.32 an hour, that is an 8.6 billion with a B lost wage on average in this country already. That already happened. That's not a projection. That's an actual metric. I'll send you the link. You have to do the math yourself. But what's interesting about that is that I also looked at another article that says that the rise in e-commerce business, the business of selling things online, has seen a 47% increase in the last 90 days. And over the last 12 months, a 709.8 billion, again with a B, dollars of gross revenue. 709 billion. So the fact of the matter is, when I think about our company and how we get paid 51% of whatever the company earns, which we all know is tip the scales at $600 million and well on our way to $1 billion. What that says to me, what it should say to anybody that's on here, is that you have an opportunity to be part of something that pays out over $300 million in annual commissions. Now, I don't know about you, but I want my piece of that. I'm not even greedy. I'll just take a cool 5%. I want my portion, right? Because the reality is, if I look back on those numbers that I just put out there, and people we've lost as a country $8.6 billion already this year in wages, and that's just this year. And we have an industry that is able to generate $709 billion of revenue. And of that, the metrics that of what we get paid out in this business, in our company, and network marketing as a whole is staggering. Why wouldn't you want to come up with $500? That's all I'll say.
Robin, Tammy, do you want to chime in?
I'll chime in. So there's a couple of things. Why would you want to do this now? Well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because if you're on your knees praying and you need a change, look a year ahead from now. If you don't do something different, you're going to be in the same hullabaloo that you're in right now.
That's right.
And all of us, I'm telling you, all of us Americans can spend $200 to $500, bam, like that, and never see a penny in return. Never. I know. I was just thinking about this a couple of years ago. I dropped $5,000 on an emotion. I invested it, and I never saw a penny back. That was not in my business. It was in another adventure. But you cannot afford not to. You're already spending this money. You're already spending money. Whether you're if you're paying Amazon, which a lot of people are paying Amazon right now. I mean, Amazon came to my door today. How about yours? And you're already spending it on the little green lady. You're spending it on companies that are going bankrupt, like GNC, who you're buying your vitamins from. You are doing all kinds, you're going to the grocery store to buy shampoo and toothpaste and supporting the local grocery store. Why not put it into your own business? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And when the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of change, you will change. So I would propose to each of you who are thinking about this, remember this day. Remember this day, December 15th, 2020. And next year, when you're in the same boat, think about today, when you were offered an opportunity that you could just jump at. You could jump, and you must invest in yourself and take risk.
It's amazing. It's amazing because each of us, now you may not have an issue. You may be on this call and say, hey, that's not my story. I know for myself, my story was, we were broke. We lost our home, and we lost our health. So it's like, how can I afford to do this? Robin, Craig, I mean, how can I afford, what amount of money I need to just go to? The easy thing to say is, I'm just going to go to Piggly Wiggly and get the cheapest supplements out there. Well, let me explain something to you. If you have something that doesn't work, you have just thrown away your money. So if you take all your money and give it to the little green lady, which, anybody who knows me knows I don't do the little green lady. Whatever you're spending your money on, when we started, my husband looked at me and he said, we need to do this. And I said, I'm a brick and mortar lady. I'm not going to do that. And at the time, Betsy Waters brought this to me and he said, do you trust her? Whoever brought you on this call, do you trust them? And I said, well, yes. And he says, well, then just do what she told you to do. And so I looked at him and said, Robin, I looked at him and I said, hey, honey, you're going to have to fast because I'm using our grocery money to get started. But you know what? If you don't, like you said, if you don't change, nothing will change. So if you're going to invest in yourself first, because unless where is it? You're on the airplane. Unless you put your mask on first, you can't save anybody else, right? So we're down to 2 minutes. Does anybody have any last minute?
Jump in real quick, Eva? One of the things that I love Craig's story, and I tell the same story, Craig. For me, when I bought my pack of products, I sold things in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And back in that day, it wasn't as popular as it is now. Now you can go on Facebook Marketplace and buy stuff. But when that wasn't true for us, it was more the garage sale kind of thing. But your desperation is truly your finest inspiration. And I want you to write that down. Your desperation is truly your finest and most effective inspiration. And so when we jumped into this business almost 7 years ago now, I remember my greatest fear wasn't the finances because I had things I sold, so I got the money to do it. Although we needed financial, we had the collapse of 2008 collapse financially with real estate. But my greatest fear that I had to overcome was, could I do this? Did I really have it in me to do it? And if you've gone through some hard things financially or health-wise, your confidence isn't real high. You're having to push through. And maybe tonight that's exactly where you're at. You need to push through. And you need to realize that we are here with hope, trust, and a plan. And I believe, and you put that in the chat over here. It's true. Hope, trust, and a plan. That you just don't get a pack of products and don't, you're thrown out to sea. You've got a whole myriad of people around you that link arms with you, cross line, up line, over line, and help you to run your business. This is your own business. It is true. It is your business, but you do not run this business alone. And you will never be successful in this business alone. You will only be successful with people that you link arms with and you help them to become successful. And so if the motivation is for anything, you know, whatever that desperate place is for you, whether it's health, you really need a health or a weight breakthrough, or if it's a financial, you really know COVID has changed things, I believe, forever. I don't think we'll ever see life as we knew it. I think so much of life is gone online. And so if it's a financial breakthrough, we have that answer. A health breakthrough, we have that answer. A weight, we have that answer. A community, a life-giving, positive community, we have that answer. Finances, we have that answer. And so whatever you're looking for inside this business, everyone's looking for something different. But I believe we have the answer. And so I have this phrase, and I'll just close with this. I have this phrase, nonprofit ministry that I did for years. And it was called Start Simply, but Simply Start. And I talked about that with cooking, you know, just start and start simply, but simply start. And I remember 2 days after we went to Tom Davis's house and we heard about the Limu opportunity, my husband brought me coffee in bed with one of my mugs that said, start simply, but simply start. And he handed me my coffee cup and he said, I think that's your answer, Tammy. And I jumped in. And I started very simply, but I started. And within 2 years, our team was huge. And thousands of people's lives were changed, thousands of health stories. People were driving cars that were paid for, house payments that were paid for. Single moms got out of apartments and moved into homes. You know, if that doesn't move you, I don't know what does. I can't believe we get to do this, that we have hope, trust, and a plan. And so if you're hearing this, someone has shared it with you, please strongly consider taking a look. Get your questions answered. Keep asking them till they're all answered, because I believe we can answer every question. And if we can't, we will find the answer. And it's a beautiful, beautiful business to start right now, today.
Well, there's your mic drop, folks. So whether it's health, whether it's finances, whether it's community, come on, let's face it, you want to be with us because we love you. So, and even, you know, at this point, even if you don't believe in yourself, we believe in you.
That's right.
And whoever invited you believes in you. So this is your homework. Get back to the person who invited you. Get your questions answered. And we will see you again next week. And just know this, we want you to be a part of our family. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you next Tuesday. And may the Lord bless you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.